Yeah, yeah, you are my African queen. Ooh, Lord.
So we have Tuface coming to AfroFlava Radio today on 107.5 wbls. I am excited, and let's go get him.
The only one I ever see with a smile so bright. Hey, and just yesterday, you came around my way. You changed my horse in way with your astonishing beauty.
Body and go, baby, tell me this your body and go. Body and go, baby, tell me this your body and go. Body and go, me and my boy, my fair to you. Go, body and go.
Ah, the minute you enter, you attack my vision. I sign up on top your mother, like I'm a Kazi mission. All man will see you get it.
This is AfroFlava Radio with your 9J girl, Sonic Kibz.
And I'm your superhero DJ John Quick Asana. I'm so excited of who we got in the building tonight.
Yes, we have the legendary, the Trailblazer, one of the men who started this whole Afrobeats movement that we are jamming to today. We have Tuface in the building. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here, man.
I'm still starstruck at the fact that we started this show 8 months ago, and this is the first Afrobeat show in a major U.S. market. And the fact that we have Tuface on our show lets me know that we are doing something.
Ginger. Yes, sir.
More fire.
Now, let's get into, for those who do not know who Tuface is, Tuface started his music journey in the 90s with Plantation Boys, who were one of the first groups making new school Nigerian music that achieved nationwide popularity. And then in 2005, he released African Queen, that changed the face of Nigerian music in the U.S. and across the globe. Now, I have to first ask you, because I feel like African Queen was that song that really just resonated with a global audience. Why did you feel like you had to make that your first major solo single?
Wow, the song just took off on its own, man. You know, it was a full album, but that song just took off. You know, it just when you say bolt on everything. You know, it just it was just a desire to do you know, a decent love song to celebrate the African woman. You know, so I think, you know, based on the respect and the melody and, you know, everything, I think, you know, yeah, that's it.
Yes. Now I have to tell a little bit of my background with that song. I remember being in my friend's room and her mom brought back a CD from Niger. And it was one of the first CDs that we honestly heard because we were so used to the reggae and that's all that we knew. And then she popped in this CD and I immediately was frozen when I heard African Queen coming through the speakers. And that moment right there changed my life because 15 years later, we are doing Afrobeats on this show. And we have Tuface in the building. You guys don't even understand the ginger. You don't understand how excited I am for this moment because I just know who you are.
Bruh, she's been so super excited.
I'm not dry now. You know? Yes. So like I'm super excited for what you're doing with your movement and the fact that you've been around for over 20 years just says how solid you are in this business. And let's talk about, you know, why you were one of the first people to really be influenced by, you know, the R&Bs, the reggaes, the hip hops. Why did you feel like you needed to infuse that into your music?
Yeah, you know, growing up, you know, we listened to a whole lot of genres of music, you know, and my household, my dad had an eclectic collection of records in the house, so I listened to everything from ABBA to Jackson 5 to Michael Jackson to the Temptations, the OJs, to Shalimar to, you know, Jimmy Cliff, Bob Marley, Roy.
So you're a music head, that's what it is.
And then, you know, the Nigerian sounds as well. Sonny Okosun, Victor Wifo, Victor Laya, Sonia Day, you know, so just name it. So it was like a huge, versatile collection of music. And, you know, listening to all these kinds of music, it just, you know, helped me to to become somebody that wasn't penned down to one particular type of music. But I gravitated more towards reggae music, Bob Marley, especially Bob Marley. And then, you know, the R&Bs, the Michael Jacksons, I mean, which kid did not like Michael Jackson?
Exactly.
Every Pekin and Michael Jackson, you know,
Transcended, man.
Naturally, everything just blended, you know, and so that was what, you know, really formed my musical taste, you know, style, you know.
And 20 years later, you are still killing it. 20 years of King Project celebrates the rare feat of 20 consecutive years as a trailblazer in the Nigerian music industry.
Yes.
Do you see like your magnitude in this? Do you feel like you are the trailblazer of this movement?
Wow, I'm happy to be part of, you know, the stepping stones. I'm happy to be part of the fire, the spark. You know, I see a whole lot of, you know, young people doing major things now, and it pleases me because that was a dream from the beginning, you know, to make this thing go everywhere, you know, not just Africa, not just Nigeria, but everywhere. And I'm happy that it's, you know, it's becoming that right now. I mean, right now the spotlight is huge on Nigeria and on African music.
Ooh.
And they call it Afrobeats out here. Ooh, they call it Afro anything.
Wow.
Afro anything. But we like to call it pop music because, you know, it's definitely popping.
Now let's get into his new album, Warriors.
Yeah.
Tell me about this album project.
Wow, Warriors, there's a song called Warriors. And funny, I'll give you this history. All my albums prior to this had names that had nothing to do with a song in the album. They were just names that just, you know, told the story about the full album. But this time around, I decided, there's a song called Warriors, and I just decided to call the album Warriors, based on that track. And the track is all about me just saying it as it is, and where I am at this point in time, you know. But the album, the remaining songs are just, you know, divided into different categories. Feel-good songs, I love you song, naughty, sexy songs, spiritual songs. So it's just a collection of all that, you know. But all of them have that African stamp on it, that Nigerian stamp on it. So if you hear it, you know, say a Nigerian person do this thing straight.
You hear.
You know that kind of thing.
Yes. So your lead singles are with some of I would say Afrobeats amazing stars. You know, you got Wizkid with Okro. We have We Must Groove featuring Burna Boy, and the video is out now with over 490K views on YouTube
too,
in just 4 days. People gotta go check that out. You also have Tiwa Savage, Olamide, and so much more. Now tell me how why you had to make an album and feature all of these people, like how my you know, Beyonce did The Gift. So tell me why you felt like you had to do all these people.
You know, for me, I've actually worked with all these people before, you know, but it wasn't on my own project, it was on their own project. So this time around, it's just okay. Let's flip the thing that I'm going to do for my own. You know? So they're doing very well. All of them, the songs that I chose to have them on. All of them, all those songs had them written on it. You know, like that We Must Groove. There's no how I could have done it without Burna Boy.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, that song with Tiwa Savage, I mean, then the Oppo, that's Whiskey, that's you know, then Olamide, some high life track, you know. So I mean, I worked with a whole lot of other young guys that are doing big things now, but I decided to cut the album, reduce the number of tracks to 13. So I just have only 13 tracks on this project right now. But will they work? Will they flow with all of them?
Yeah. Well, go check out the Warriors.
Will they rub our talent together?
Yes, go check out that Warriors album, people. Now I have another question for you. Do you ever feel like you're going to stop? Or are you going to continue going 20 more years?
Wow, music for me is going to be forever, man. I'm definitely going to reduce the amount of shows that I do and all that. All that stage stuff is going to definitely, you know, reduce. Now, I don't think I can stop completely. I don't think there's any retirement level in music.
Well, if you're loving it, man, why stop?
You understand? You know, so, but I'm definitely going to reduce the level of shows and stuff. But in terms of doing music, it's never going to stop for me.
Now I have another question for you. Did you ever feel like when you made that track African Queen over 15 years ago, did you ever think that Afrobeats, what we call it here in America, would be where it is right now?
Yeah, I hoped it would be. We were getting there in the 70s, in the 80s, but you know, due to so many political upheavals, military stuff, most of the major record labels that companies, the record company they call them those days now, they had to just close up shop, So the music started suffering, so people did not invest as they would normally in a conducive environment. People were not investing anymore in music, so it became something that you just do it either for fun or just for to try your luck. So but when we came into the game, it was still messed up. The structures, there was no structures, there was no major backup for marketing and promoting our music. So we had to do everything on our own. We had to be our stylist, we had to be our manager, we had to be our lawyer, we had to be our finance. We had to be everything on our own, So we hoped that it would grow and get bigger. We hoped and we worked towards it, and somehow it's manifesting now, and it's because we never stopped. We never gave up in trying to take it to that next level, and I think it's on that next level now. The next generation will take it to the next level. The next generation will take it to the next level.
Heard that here.
So I'm happy about what's going on.
From the Trailblazer himself.
You're a true bridge builder,
man. When it's happening.
Wow, this is a house that Tuface built. Make sure you guys show some love on social media.
Not just me, a whole lot of other guys.
Of course now, but we have to give props where props is due. We have to give props to props. We know the Fela Kutis, we know the Sunny Ideas, we know all of them now. But you are the one that started the foundation that these boys stand on today. I say that. Into 20 years of King, how does one do 20 years as a Naija / Afro pop artist?
Well, I don't know, man, but for me, I just never thought that I arrived. I always looked at it from the point of an upcoming artist. That's how I always look at myself, man. So every year, I always come out with some fresh stuff. And that's how I just had the hits back to back. So I've always, believed that, if you love something, you do it, and you do it, you do it for the people that have believed in you. I mean, my fans are the most amazing fans, and I always try not to disappoint them. Yes. And I also try to win more fans. That's what's up. So that's how, and with the talent, with the work, with the kind of people that I have around me, my manager, the people that I work with, and then the special grace of the Almighty. And,
hello, God. We say God here.
And then just keeping my head straight, respect for people, and So I think all this combined together has just kept me going.
So I have to ask you, and I hope this is not controversial. So there's a well-known artist who recently said on Twitter that no one paved the way for them, that they did things on their own. Yeah. When you hear things like that, as someone who really did start one of the movements that we enjoy today, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, you have to look at it from where he's coming from, Everybody's worked with different people at different times. People have contributed to people's movement at different times. So it depends on, if that's his reality, then that's his reality. You can't change that reality for him. So that's what he felt, and that's what he meant. And if you check it critically, it's crazy, but when you want to look at it from the point of, if I wasn't there, would there be this person? So you also look at it from that point of view. The fact that you were there before somebody doesn't mean that they wouldn't have come. They wouldn't have,
I hear
made
that.
it, So so you just have to look at it from all the aspects of his own reality. So
wow, that is a great perspective. You see, wisdom, knowledge. That is amazing.
I like the way you look at that.
Wow. So, do you see yourself collaborating with American artists in the near future?
Definitely.
Who? Come on, man.
There are plenty. I mean, I got so much respect for a whole lot of the American artists. I mean, they are amazing ones, man. I must mention Alicia Keys, I must mention. Kendrick Lamar, I must mention. You know, Lil Wayne, I must mention Drake. Them now, all of them. I mean, there are plenty. The list is endless.
All right, so listen.
The Jay-Z's, the PDD's.
Okay.
This was not Baba them.
Well, listen. So let's say if your album budget had room for 2 American artists, we need you to pick 2, bro.
Whoa.
2. No, we don't want that politically correct. We want your 2 favorite that you would love to do a record with right now.
Wow.
Manifestation.
Hey, oh boy, I hope that if I name
it's happened here before. Trust.
I hope that if I name these 2, the other ones will not think that, okay, I don't...
Yeah. They'll be all right.
I hope they won't think that I don't send them.
No.
Wow. Okay, let me just put it like this.
Okay, well, you put him on the spot.
I'm trying to be diplomatic.
Yeah. Don't. Okay, well, I would love to see Alicia Keys and Tuface by African
Alicia
Queen
Keys.
remix.
Whoa.
Can you imagine that?
That would be nice.
That would be crazy.
That's all right. I want to hear the answer.
I'm already looking forward to that.
Swiss Beats, you listening? We need that remix.
That's right.
You know, I did 20 years a King movement last year. It was a whole year of different activities. I got, you know, an honorary degree conferred upon me in Obafemi, one of the most prestigious universities in Africa.
Oh, nice.
OAU. They made me a fellow of the School of Music. Wow. You know, and they also, you know, and I did a whole lot of charity events. I did a Europe tour. I did there was a whole lot of activities that we did last year for, you know, 20 years a King. And I promised an album, you know, and then 20 years in the game, at the top of the game, for me, that's some warrior movement. So this album was part of the whole movement, the 20 years a King. So that's why I decided to call it Warriors.
Nice.
You know, and, you know, so like I was calling out to all the warriors, all the people that, you know, have been up and about, doing their thing, keeping it straight, keeping it strong.
Movers and shakers.
You know, so
I love that.
Yeah, so that's why.
That's amazing. Now, we talked about the We Must Groove featuring Burna Boy video.
Yes,
now, where did you film this video? Because it gave me a little bit of New York. At the same time, it gave me London. So, like, where did you film that video?
New York.
Really?
The whole thing?
The city's so bad, they named it twice, man.
That's what, because I was thinking London too.
The whole
That's
thing?
New York, New York.
Wow.
Amazing. So why did you choose
Harlem to be precise.
What? Okay, all
So
right.
you could have called a sister.
Exactly.
Why did you choose to do it in New York City?
I think for me it was convenience. Like I was in New York, Butter was in New York, and the video director was in Atlanta. So, so you know, instead of flying him to Lagos and let's just do it. You know,
I got a question, man.
Since we're all in the same place together, let's do it.
In terms of your, because this album is bananas. I have to give you props on it. It's a really good album. What is your process going into a project? I mean, is it a thing where you're trying to? Does it take you a long time to do an entire album, or is it a vibe you just get on like, yo, I keep pumping out these joints? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is your process when you go into like recording an entire album?
Like this album, because I said I was gonna release an album for 20 Years a King, we actually had like 26 songs pegged out for the album, but I had to reduce it to 13. For me, there are songs that I put on the album that were recorded 3 years ago, 4 years ago, you know. So for me, it's not. I just try to just do good music, so to speak. And then, you know, I select the ones that I want to put on a particular project. So that's the process for me. It's not like I deliberately said, "Oh, I'm recording this for this album."
Yeah, that's what I mean. I
just record, and then when I have a project, I just decide to say, "Okay, this song will be good for this. This song will be good for this."
Gotcha.
And then some of the songs I recorded them, you know.
So you're constantly recording
already? Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes,
Gotcha.
Yes.
Right.
You know, so there's no deliberate process of saying, okay, this album, Cause Now Warriors, all the songs will be Jungle Warriors. So you know.
No, that makes sense.
So the Warriors in itself is just, you know, where I am at right now and what I'm feeling, and
Okay.
the message that I want to pass across.
And then my last question, is there an upcoming tour that we can look forward to, whether abroad or in the United States?
Yeah, well, we're in talks right now. I mean, we have to carry warriors around, you know.
Yes.
So we're in talks with some people right now, and once everything is sorted out, we go enter road, give that
Yes.
straight.
Make sure if
Straight.
you come to New York
Yes,
City, you
so
holla at us.
definitely,
We would love to
definitely.
feature that on our show.
Definitely.
Wow, guys,
Definitely.
that is part 2. That is the second week we had Tubaba on our show. What an amazing honor to have
My
had
pleasure,
you.
bro.
It is
Absolutely,
absolutely
bro.
great to have you here. Once again, hit him up on social media at official Tubaba on
Yes,
IG and Twitter, and Tubaba Idibia on Facebook.
Yes, sir.
Okay, make sure I got that right. Thank you for tuning
Thanks for coming
in. This
through,
is
bro.
Respect. DJ, quick.
Awesome!
Yes,
Yay!
That
That
was
was
so-
amazing.
That was dope. You did a great
Thank
job.
you
Thank
so
you.
much
Thank
for
you.
coming
And
on our show.
More blessing for you guys.
Amen.
Appreciate you, bro.
Up you go, up. You go.
Amen.